Hello, everybody. So, we are back again with a new session. So, today with me, I have Pavitra Behre, right? If I am not
Yeah.
pronouncing your name correctly.
No, no, you actually pronounce it right on the first try. So
Okay.
kudos.
Okay, great. Pavitra Behre. Okay, so he is going to walk us through his internship journey in Cisco, the Fortune 100 company. And it's not enough for me to say it's a Fortune 100 company, but hash one on the Fortune 100 list as per 2021 report. So I'm super excited to know his experience. And the cherry on top is he is from a tier 3 college and he is from a small town. So I am not disregarding that fact because it's important for us to address that okay, people from small towns and colleges are reaching up to this level, and he is a clear example of showing it off and proving this right. Okay, so without much ado, I will ask Pavitra to introduce himself a little bit and we will get started.
Thank you, Nikita, for the kind words. You were really modest. So just a quick introduction about me. Hi, I'm Pavitra Bhere. I'm from a small town called Jabalpur in Madhya Pradesh. Since always I was a child who was very curious in electronics and gadgets. So I was into tech from my childhood only. And as she mentioned, I am from a tier 3 college. So that's exciting because once we go through with the story, you'll know that you don't need to be in Ivy League to get into a Fortune 100. I'm a builder. I like to make computers go beep, beep, boop, boop. Oh, sorry, that was a bad joke. I love to write code, make a piece of sand, perform whatever task I ask it to do. It's a great power. I usually use it to be lazy.
What you do at Cisco now? You have got the internship recently, right, at Cisco?
Yeah.
So what is your role?
Okay, so I'm a software engineer intern, or if in other words or in other terms, you can call it an SDE intern, software development engineer intern, because different companies have different names for the role, but they are essentially the same. So yeah, I'm a SDE intern. I'm working with the CCAI team for the product WebEx Contact Center. My role is to allow our customers to handle and integrate more AI capabilities in their use cases. So our product is WebEx Contact Center. We are presently the number one and most growing cloud contact center in the business.
Okay. Okay. So let us go with a rapid fire kind of thing. Let's go and take a little dive into your college life. As in, were you always sure you wanted to become a software development engineer?
Uh, Not really, because when I started back in school, I always was much interested in electronics. I wanted to be an electronics engineer, but then the tech boom happened, and I got my first computer, and it was, I guess, back in 2010. I was in fifth standard when I was first introduced to programming, and I was instantly hooked to it. So that's when I decided that I want to do this only.
Okay. So
Yeah.
you are from electronics branch or computer
I'm from
science?
computer science. Yeah,
Okay.
I'm from computer science.
Okay. So it's not appropriate for me to say like, okay, Pavitra is from electronics branch and still he made it, but he was always into computers.
Yeah, definitely. I was into electronics at a very, very early age, but then I switched to computers, mostly
Okay.
from hardware to software. That was kind of a switch.
Okay, so but how did you make the transition? You mentioned you wanted to become an electronics engineer, but you chose to do engineering in computer science. Why is that?
Yeah, so it all goes way back. When I was in class fifth, I have an elder sister, and she was in class 10th, and she had a computer book. Right. So one day I was just very bored. I picked it up. I just went to the contents, and there was a section on how to make websites. And that at that time we didn't have internet at our place. Right. So we used to, use dial-up modems or Nokia 2G connections to connect to the internet. So that was a pretty interesting thing to me to see how the web works. So I started working with websites and HTML from fifth standard only, and you know uh, that point or that moment when you see your first code runs, the satisfaction. So at that moment, I decided, yeah, I want to be a software engineer.
Okay, and you write also, right? I mean, you have a couple of blogs. And did you develop that interest in writing?
I won't say that I'm much of a writer. I just started writing blogs recently. I had a plan since last 3-4 years that I want to write blogs, but I never got around to it. So once I'm now like in a job and everything is settled, so I just plan ki why not just write. And I always want, because when I was starting up, I always saw there were many tutorials out there in the internet, right? To start up, to how to handle things from for beginners. So I planned the same, that if I'm learning a new thing, I should also document it in such a way that if there's a newcomer or beginner coming up, they can refer that. So that's how I started with my blogs, and I'll be continuing with that.
That is awesome. And with the honesty, you said, okay, if any newbie is coming, he should always have some documentation in place from somebody who has gone through that phase. So that, yeah, that's completely great. And blogs really help more than videos. I think sometimes write-ups help because they are too honest.
Yeah, exactly. Because personally, I don't prefer tutorial videos over write-ups. Because write-ups, you can just directly go to the content, but in the videos, you have to sit through everything to get the gist, right? So I prefer write-ups more. And there was a point that I was working with a tech, and there was literally no documentation available on the internet. So that was a point that I decided, yeah, I'll write my own. Yeah.
Before Cisco, were you doing any other internships as well?
Yeah, I've actually done one internship in each year of my college. The first year I was an intern with Wittold. It's a multimedia company which creates animated videos and explainer videos. We worked on a project for Microsoft, Kaizala. So in the second year, I switched to a startup called Recruity. It's an applicant tracking system, and I was the one of the early employees there.
Mhm.
So we made that product from ground up. So second year I was there. Third year I was selected to be an intern at TCS via their competition Inframind,
Mhm.
and last year Cisco.
Okay.
So I've been pretty busy all my college life.
Okay, you have been hustling, trying to land
Yeah,
a great job, a great place, and you made it. Hash one on Fortune 100. I will keep saying it
thanks.
because when you make it, you're just proud of yourself.
Yeah, I can relate to that. But my main focus was not to land a job. I was just trying to learn and have fun, because I am genuinely the kind of person who literally has fun writing code or building things. For some people, the idea of fun is just going out and partying. For me, I'll just pick up my keyboard and just build something. So I was just trying to have fun.
Okay, so you're not a party person at all. For you, partying is coding.
No, you can say that. I'm not a party person. I rarely go out, but I'm trying to be more social now.
Okay, but I know we felt in this whole conversation that you are kind of introvert, which is like congratulations to you. So moving on, as in, what all things were you reading back in college all these 4 years?
If I say documentation, will it sound too cliche?
Not at all. I mean, you can talk about it. What sort of documentation?
Okay, so again, I'm not much of a reader. I'll be very honest. I'm not much a reader. I don't go by the rules in the book. I don't go to theory. I'm just like, here, if I want to do something, let's just do it in a practical way. So, I can say that most knowledge I gained was through street knowledge, to actually do things. I started building application back in school, but I wasn't even aware of what data structures are. It was not until my second year in college that I was made aware that, oh, how this is how trees work. But I was just using them because I saw somewhere that these are how they work, right? So I'm not much of a reader. I'm more likely to go towards the practical approach, to make things work first, then we'll, you know, get into the theory.
Okay, to that point, I have a very interesting question for you. I'm going to
Sure.
give you a comparative analysis kind of thing. So, what I've heard so far from people around here in this market or industry, they say why people criticize tier three colleges is because of the same reason that they don't provide vocational or practical experience, but a lot of theoretical experience. But the things you actually did were something which was out of the box for a tier 3 college, right? I mean, practically doing things, taking interest in implementation rather than reading about it. So you have something to say about it. I think you have a lot.
Yeah, I actually have a lot. So I have this philosophy that no teacher or no university in the world, be it MIT or any other Ivy Leagues or IITs, can teach you to code or teach you to build things, it should be coming from within you, right? The curiosity and everything. Every university, there's the syllabus is same, right? Whether you pick up the syllabus of an IIT or a tier 3 college, you'll see that syllabus is almost the same, but it's the execution that lacks, right? And once a student joins a tier 3 college, they have this mentality, yeah, that's just a tier 3 college, we'll just go through the curriculum, and at the end of the session or the batch, the campus will come and we'll get into that, right? So that's what the motivation, the curiosity the students lack. Because I've seen in my college, there are a number of people who actually, no, I know a guy who was a WWDC scholar from our college. He was a WWDC scholar back in 2015. And I know multiple people who have done Google Summer of Code from our college only. But the difference between them and the normal student is that these guys are just more curious about how things work. So that curiosity and motivation is really necessary. And I would say that doesn't really matter. Of course, it matters what college you're from, but if you are motivated enough, it doesn't really matter.
Okay. So how much do you think, Pavitra, that belonging, surroundings, and awareness helps you? As in, I don't really differentiate between colleges and the tiers and tires or whatever it is. It is actually new for me, and I'm curious, and that's why I keep talking to people about this, because I've recently heard this term and the differentiation that exists in the industry a lot. It's on a larger scale, right? So my question is, how do you build up that awareness when nobody around you is talking about practicality of the things, and they are just talking about marks and exams or semesters or stuff like that? So how did you make sure that, okay, you are aware of what's going on, what industry needs?
Okay, I'll tell you a small story. It was back in my 12th standard, we had to give the JE exam to get into colleges. And one day before JE, I just gave up here. I can't do maths, physics, and chemistry just to be writing Hello World, right? I don't want to do this. So day one before, just a day before JE, I gave up. I scored 36 marks out of 360, and I had no scope of getting into a government college or anything. I had good marks in my 12th standard board exams, so I got a few scholarships from one of some of the major universities out there. But again, it was just a scholarship for first year, and you'll have to spend 20 to 25 lakhs for the other years. So my philosophy was that, yeah, why spend 20 lakhs, 25 lakhs on such a big university when you are just getting the same campus opportunities in your local city college? So I spent like 10% of that amount just on my degree, and all the other amount on to learn things, right? Suppose if I'm supposed to go to a private college for 25 lakhs for 4 years, I just spent 2.5 lakhs for my BTech, and the other remaining amount, some part of it I spent on working or building myself, building my skills. So when I went to college, it was quite hard to find a group that share the same ideology, same kind of people, same people who are motivated as much as you are. It was quite hard. So okay, I found some people. I was lucky with them, and I had a group from my school. They were from different universities as well, but we were all connected in this only. So we used to build things. We used to have all-nighters just to geek out stuff. So that was a thing that kept me aware of what's going on in the industry, because you can't just rely on your college, or be it any college. You can't just rely on your college that they'll tell you everything. You have to take the initiative up yourself to find out what's really going on.
I loved it, actually.
Definitely, because I've seen people blame colleges. I've seen people blame themselves, and ultimately, it's your efforts that count. Colleges can just give you the resources, but it's up to you that you have to work on it.
We are getting out of your college life, and now let's get into the practical world of what did you actually prepare to get this internship in Cisco?
Okay, so see, I'll be very, very candid and frank with you. So, being from a tier 3 college, you have a very little to 0% to 1% chance to getting in a big company, right? So, there are only two ways you can get hired from a tier 3 college. If you're from IIT or any other Ivy Leagues, you know that you're going to have a very good campus placement season. All the big MNCs, all the FANG companies are going to come. But when you're from a tier 3 college, you don't have that. You only have two ways. First ways is campus hiring. And in tier 3 college, most campus hirings are mostly service based companies or mass recruiters, right? And second way is competition based hiring. Competition based hiring is much harder because the total demographic is much larger than a campus placement, but uh, you are on the same platform as the other Ivy League students, right? So Cisco has a competition called Cisco Ideathon, right? And the main focus of this competition is to find out talents from tier 2 and tier 3 colleges who are equivalent to the Ivy Leagues, right? So we this was the I was hired through the second edition of Cisco Ideathon, and first year when it came to a college of Ideathon, we weren't aware of anything what happened, and it was new. And even in our year, in our placement year, Cisco came for much more roles. Last year they came for just CX, customer experience, and this year they came for IT and engineering as well. So there's a whole lot of unsurety involved, that what to do, what not to do. So at first when we were told that Cisco is organizing this and this, and these are the rounds. There are 7 rounds actually. So my preparation was to see. I'm not a networking guy. I don't know networking a bit. But Cisco being the major networking company, I had to study CCNA, CCNP, and everything. So it was like 16 hours a day. I'm just reading about routers, how routers work, how routing work, how switches work, and everything about networks. And I had to just mug that all up for like 2 months. And then again, the campus placement started. And ultimately I was lucky because it was not all about networking, because last year when it came, they were just only hiring for the networking roles. This year they were also hiring for SGE. So I was lucky in that, because due to there was SGE, I could focus more on the coding part or the technical part rather than networking. Because networking, I'll be very honest, is a weak concept for me, because I was never really into networking. Is very vast. Cisco has various certifications we have to complete. CCNA, Introduction to Network, Switching, Routing, Wireless Essential, Enterprise Networking, CCNP, CCNI. There are n number of things you have to study for that. So all I can say that here, 2 months, I literally studied 16 hours a day just to get how things work in networking, to answer the initial questions. For internship experience and internship hiring, that was pretty smooth, and it was very exciting because there were 7 rounds. First round was basic, just the shortlisting part. Around 80,000 students all over India participate, and around only 600, six not 600, around 2,000 students qualify the first round. And second round is the ideation stage, and ideation stage is the most exciting part. They gave you they gave you 3 problems. uh, all the problems are completely unrelated to each other, have no similarity whatsoever, and you have to solve that problem in 90 seconds. Not 1 second less, not 1 second more. You have to solve that problem in 90 seconds using any of the latest technologies, 5G or SD-WAN, that all. So it was a very exciting experience.
Okay, so it was not a easy one for sure, right?
Yeah, it definitely wasn't easy one, because as I said, competition-based hiring are much harder than campus-based. In campus, you have a total student domain of like 600 to 700 students. In competition-based hiring, you're competing with the entire country or the entire world. So that's definitely a difficult thing.
Like if any experienced person is switching companies and wants to get hired in Cisco, I don't think it will be that difficult, right?
Yeah, because we are freshers, right? So we have to go through much more levels. And for someone who's switching, they already have a profile set. They already have a work profile and experience and project set. So comparative for if I were to compare a fresher hiring to a experience hiring, definitely fresher hiring is difficult.
Like if you want to get internship or a job at Cisco, you need to know what networking is. It's not just the software development, DSA or C or any language. Doesn't, it's not the only thing that you need to know, but a lot of networking part as well. Similarly, if
Yeah.
you, yeah, so companies like Red Hat or any infrastructure based companies, open source and stuff, you need to know a little bit about open source communities and operating systems, Linux, and all of that stuff. So it really comes with companies, what their products are like, what is their base foundation, and that's how you prepare. You want to talk about it?
Yeah, definitely. On a day one of onboarding, we were told that Cisco is not just a networking company, but it's an IT company. But Cisco started in San Francisco as a networking company only, right? And its main product, its main spotlight feature is networking devices for enterprise and businesses. So you definitely need to know a bit about that, because if you don't know what the company does, if you don't know what the company products are, how they work, uh, you're not gonna outshine yourself in the interviews, and they'll definitely ask something from the past, or they'll definitely ask something about how the product works, how to debug networks and everything. So networking is a plus. You have to know how it works, how Cisco product works. And mostly if you study about the networking part or any computer networks from the Cisco curriculum, it's safe to say that yeah, you are done for the other companies as well, because Cisco has the most vast and extensive curriculum for networks. So yeah, so networking you have to study, but don't just study networking. You have to keep a balance with all the software part, the technical part, the domain part, and everything else. It's a balance, equilibrium, you can say. You
Yes.
need to know how the company works, what are the main products, as I said. If you don't know how a company works, if you don't know what the company's main selling point is, what the company's main most important research is going on right now, then what are you like? You can't expect them to hire you if you're that unaware.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay. So let's go into the fun part of this. As in, when you join a company like Cisco, how was your first experience, like for day one experience? And also, I feel for you guys, right? You are joining such a company and virtually. So obviously, it's a feeling
exactly.
of missing it out, right? But I hope things will get normal soon and you will get to join from office. But however it was, how did you feel that? How was the feeling?
Okay, so I'm not sure what to say about that, because again, it was a virtual experience. My last two internships are completely virtual, right? So I'm pretty used to how being working virtual is now. I've been work from home since last year only, from TCS to Cisco. And our the company, the recruiting team, the UR team made sure that we are having fun in the virtual as well. We have different programs. We have fun Fridays. Yesterday was a fun Friday. Every Friday, the team, the ETC is called Emerging Talent at Cisco, organizes competitions every Friday, activities, peer-to-peer networking. With we have a series called WebEx Wednesday series, where they just come and teach us about something new, or just have fun. We also have for more developers, and we also have a weekly thing called Nerd Lunch, where a high level or executive leader comes and teaches. Like we just it's just 2 hours of nerding out, geeking out over things. So that was all part of the onboarding experience. Uh, our onboarding experience was literally called day one experience, right? And it was fun. It was full of games and everything. We had a great trivia contest worldwide. There were winners. There were everything. We got swags. We got goodies. And overall, virtually onboarding, if I were to compare with my past experiences, this was the best. The team really outdid everything.
No, I obviously agree and relate with it because good companies, they really rely upon their culture and they don't want to go it for toss.
It just keeps us engaged and somewhat motivated. So
Yeah.
it's a really good thing. Cisco has been rated as the world's best workplace for like 2 years in a row. And this year it's going to be rated the first as well. Because in some other magazines, we were already rated the best workplace in the world. And because the main reason for that is the Cisco's culture and policies. They are mostly employee first. We first need to focus on the happiness of the employee. If our employee is happy, he'll definitely be more productive. So far, the company has really, really did a great job on onboarding and keeping the interns and employees engaged.
When are you graduating?
Uh, this month only, I guess. I have my final exams like 2 weeks from now, so possibly this month.
You're running ahead of time, Pavitra. Trust me. Seriously, you must be 21, right?
I turned 22 last month only,
So, what
so
is your some advice, mistakes that you have done, or maybe some things that you have seen around you? You don't want people, or you know, you're juniors to follow the same. You just don't want them to do that.
Yeah, so there's one thing I tell all my juniors whenever they contact me for advice or anything. That's that key. Please enjoy as much as you can. Please enjoy, but not at the expense of your academics. I know college is like once in a lifetime thing. It only happens for 4 years, and before you know it, it's over. But some people are only enjoying, some people are this. I'm not gonna say that he only study, or do this or do that or be a part of this. But that's what I did wrong, right? I was a classroom student. I rarely bunked my classes, and I really regret that. I was not that much outgoing. I was not that much social in college, so I really missed out that part. So my advice would be that ki, it's your 4 years of life you're never getting back. Please enjoy as much as you can, but not at the expense of your career. So keep balance.
Yeah.
Definitely there are people that they're like यार हो जाएगा तब की तब से दिखेंगे, and that kind of attitude is good for your mental health but not really practical. You have to plan ahead, you have to plan everything in advance, and you have to follow that plan. If you I have seen people who are very talented in my college with me, and they were like, yeah, when Cisco comes we'll study, when Cisco comes we'll study, when this company comes we'll study, and they did not study. They kept procrastinating that, and they were really really talented, I would say. Like uh, they are winners of various hackathons and competitions and everything, and everyone expected them कि यार they will do it, but it was again that कि they procrastinated a lot, right? So they were like कि जब की तब से देखी जाएगी, whatever happens we'll see then only. So that kind of attitude is okay, but not always. You have to plan ahead. You have to plan a bit ahead, because if you don't plan ahead, things can go anyway, things can go south, north. You never know what's going to happen, right? And one thing I always say to my juniors is that please have a plan B. Don't just go after one company. Always have a plan B, because if you don't have a plan B and plan A doesn't work, you'll be nowhere.
Yeah.
You'll be just stuck. So plan B is very important.
Pavitra, after talking to you for all these 30 minutes, I realized, like, three things really worked for you immensely.
Yeah.
One is obviously hard work, going out of the way, working on things which you didn't even think about. You will do that. You did it for Cisco, right? You learned about
Yeah.
networking, did whatnot certifications.
I like to add one thing to that.
Yeah.
In my entire life, I have never done AI. I've never worked on AI. I just know what AI is, how it works, but I've never worked on AI. I have no experience on AI. And I'm on the AI team right now. So
This things you didn't even think about you will do, you are doing it and you are having fun in them. So you just tried, explored yourself, going out of
yeah,
the box. Second thing is consistency. When a lot of your friends were procrastinating, enjoying, having fun, chilling out in college life, you just tried being consistent of what you like and thinking about your career. And third thing which I noticed which really helped you is you already knew what you love and you were focused in building that part.
I get this question a lot. Most people are like just doing engineering because they don't know what else to do. They have to just go on with their lives, but they are not sure. I have friends that who are good in computers, but they don't want to make it as their career. Right? They're really good in computers. They're really placed in good companies, but they don't want to make it as a career. So for everyone like that, I would just think, yeah, never stop exploring. Explore everything until you find the one thing that works for you. It might be now, it might be 2 years from now, it doesn't matter. But once you find that one thing that works for you, that's when you'll start having fun. You won't have to work a day, you'll just have fun. I was lucky enough to find what I like back in school only, so I worked towards it. But not everyone is that lucky, so just keep on exploring. And there's a quote now, ki, if you love what you do, you won't have to work a day. So that's the main philosophy behind this only. Keep exploring. The day you find something that works for you, you won't be working anymore. You'll just be enjoying.
Yes. But you will never know until you explore everything that comes to your mind.
Yeah,
So,
definitely explore everything. I explored literally everything. I'm a computer guy, but I also explored multimedia. I explored animation, game designing, and everything just to see what works for me. And ultimately, this did.
yes. And yeah, after this interview, you will also be able to remove some myths from your mind that okay, you're not social, and second, oh yes, I am introvert. These two things are no more fit for you now. No
Yeah, I'm
more.
definitely trying to be more extrovert, but yeah, that thanks.
Yeah, obviously very sensible extrovert person, I really found you. And would like to end up my questions that I have been barging on you all the time, all these 40 minutes.
It's all
So
right. I'm having fun.
what is the process in Cisco to get you a full-time job?
Okay, so there are essentially two types of offers, right? It all depends on your performance during the interviews and during the assessment. The first offer is like a single offer, that's just the internship. You have to work extra hard on that to convert that internship to a full-time offer because there are n number of factors involved, the business factor, the openings, the budget, and everything. The second kind of offer is a dual offer. So if you're coming to Cisco via Ideathon or from a Ivy League, you will definitely get a dual offer. Dual offer also, it also depends on your performance in the assessments and the interviews, right? And the business and the budget reasons are always there. But for dual offer people, it gets a bit easier to convert to full time. And for single offers, you'll have to work a little bit more because first the dual offers guys are converted. Then if there are any openings remaining, the team goes to single offer people. So, but if you're an exceptional single offer student, you'll definitely be converted to an FTE. And Cisco has a very good track record of converting 98 to 99% students to full time.
Yeah, like I mean, it's a mercy for both the sides, right? First
Yeah,
thing is company has already trained the person who can now work for the company, so it's a win-win situation for both the parties. And of course, who doesn't want to join Cisco?
if even if you're from a single offer intern and your internship ends without any offer, in a month or so, whenever any opening in any other team comes up, you are considered first.
That's
So
wonderful.
Cisco spends so much money or so much time and effort on their interns. They don't want to let it to go to waste, right? So they make sure that even if there's a guy from single offer from one team, but it has no roles or no job openings for that time, they'll refer that guy to another team. But make sure that he comes to Cisco. This my advice would be for the people in tier two and tier three colleges because see tier 2 or tier 3 college and that's like whenever you see students from other Ivy League colleges you feel like you feel a bit inferior. Don't, because when I joined Cisco I was from a tier 2 and tier 3 college, right? And I'm currently working alongside with people who are from IITs. They're also here, I'm also here, we're also on the same platform only, right? So it doesn't really matter like okay आप tier 2 में हो tier 3 में हो, it's okay as long as you're doing what you love. Doesn't matter. In 1 or 2 years, you guys all be in the same platform only. See, Cisco has a program called Cisco Networking Academy. It's like a virtual uh, learning management system and virtual academy where Cisco has their own courses. So if your college does not, like colleges have to register as networking academies in Cisco. It's free of cost. If you want to participate in Cisco hiring next year, contact your head of department, contact your college or dean to check if you guys are registered in Cisco Networking Academy. If you are not, please approach Cisco. They'll approve you as a networking academy. You will get access to all the Cisco course free of cost. Like CCNA course material alone only costs $300 to $400, right? But if you're a Cisco Networking Academy, you'll get all that for free. You'll get n number of certifications on latest technologies, be it 5G, 4G, uh, software-defined wide area networks, or anything for free of cost, and you can start preparing from there onwards. And if you're a Cisco or Networking Academy, you can participate in Cisco Ideathon and other hiring processes. So reach out to your colleges.
Pavitra, you were just one of those freshers. Freshers, no, I shouldn't call you a fresher. You were just one of those undergrad who was sensible enough and was ahead enough of the time. So I was just mesmerized talking to you and the wisdom you have got. And you absolutely deserve the opportunity. And I wish you all the success. And I wish you maybe you get heights in your career. And congratulations again. And I hope
Thank you so much.
you just consider to come again to this channel and make it worthwhile.
Definitely, man. I had a very nice time talking to you. Right, this was actually my first time I'm doing this, so it was really a very great one. So I'm definitely coming back.
Oh, I'm so
Yeah,
happy. I'm just, it just makes me so happy that okay, people just feel homely talking to me or maybe coming to my channel. So that's what only the purpose is. I'm not running after numbers or anything. It's just the experience or the vibe that we create together.
yeah, definitely. I had a really nice time talking to you, so I really had fun. It was
Same
fun.
here. Okay. So guys, I hope you liked it. Pavitra is leaving away a lot of learnings with you all. I hope you were able to grab it. If you have any questions, which I am sure you must be having, feel free to put it in the comment box. I will, if I am able to answer, I will try to. Otherwise, I will reach out to him. You can also reach out to him. I will leave the LinkedIn link, his all social media links in the description below. So do not hesitate to network, communicate, because that's how you roll. Okay,
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
that's how we roll. I always say that. All right, guys. So, yeah, with that, we are wrapping it up and we'll meet again. So, don't forget to
Sure.
subscribe to this channel, yeah, please. Huh?
Also press the bell icon.
My God, I just always forget to say that. It just doesn't come to my mouth. I don't know for what, but okay. Thank you for completing it.